I set a 20-year goal of owning £1 million worth of property. I set this goal and I thought, yeah, in 10, 20 years time, I'll have £1 million worth of property and I'll be rich. My first deal was worth just shy of £1 million. Yeah. And since then, well, we own and manage over 2.5 million, getting on towards 3 now. And this is 3 years into the journey. Staniforth, as you already know, entrepreneur, business owner, property investor. Big focus of mine is on coaching around mindset for business owners. And more recently, started to become a physique athlete, which is something I'm super excited about. The journey can look however you want it to look. But the important thing is that you're enjoying it. Yeah, it's going to be stressful, there's going to be sacrifice, an element of suffering, because often we need to grow as an individual to become a bigger person so that we can actually even achieve this thing that we believe is potentially possible. Do you know when it's going to be here?
Should be in a minute. No. What's the time?
20 past.
Oh, let me give him a ring.
At least he's given us some good drinks.
Oh, he's here now. Oh, he's coming.
Oh, fucking hell. Sorry, mate. Sorry, I've just been to the shop. Instead of the rain, I thought I'd get one of these. Now we're here. How does that look? That now it's up because we didn't have it, did we? It looked good on camera.
It looks good.
What didn't you have up? The
logo. Yeah.
The logo, yeah.
Just
the lion's little nutsack. I love that.
Now you point it out. I think I did know it before, but I didn't.
Pre-workout. Episode 1, baby. Cheers, man.
Okay, guys, so I'm beyond excited to start the full episodes of the Lion Mind podcast. So far, the support and the talk and everything about it has been massively overwhelming. It's been amazing to know that many people support it. So this is officially episode number 1 of many, many to come. And today I've got a very good brother from another mother of mine, Staniforth. He's, to be honest, for me, he's been a mentor, a great friend, and probably listened to far too many voice notes of mine of me sulking and crying, and he's put me straight and stopped me doing stupid things, I'd probably say. But no, Jay, thanks for coming on, mate, first of all. I would hate to tell people who you are and get it wrong, so you go for it.
Yeah, so I'm Staniforth, as you already know, entrepreneur, business owner, property investor, and a big focus of mine is on coaching around mindset for business owners, and more recently started to become a physique athlete, which is something I'm super excited about, and I'm really going to be pushing that into next year. So.
Yeah, and there's something quite exciting about that we'll share in it. But no, I appreciate it. So we're going to start every show with a present for me, because that's how it goes. Basically, there's a wall behind that is naked at the minute, and every single person that comes on the show, we're going to do a present where they bring it, so I can pin it on the wall, and it's going to remind us of that guest. So
yeah,
drum roll.
So I bought 2 gifts, Dean. So the first is a Magnum extra large condom.
Fucking get in.
Now, the reason for this, the reason I think it represents me, is something about my beliefs.
Yeah.
And it is that life is more fun when you go big and you go hard.
Yeah.
But life has a tendency to fuck you at times if you don't protect your assets. So, make sure you always have...
That is actually very well thought
a
of.
second move. That's what it is. So that's that one. And then the next one is...
Glad it's not extra small.
is a compass. And the reason is, what I've just shared with you there, I believe that I'm a person that has and probably will continue to help guide you through that. And, it's not Google Maps, because that'd be the easy route. A compass, it takes some knowledge, it takes some use, it's a bit more difficult. But that's because I believe that the fastest route to success is through sacrifice and suffering. And sometimes you have to put the hard work in.
Love it.
So that's
How
how I
good
got
was
a gift wallet.
Well, for saying you said the other day, I don't know what to get. I think that's actually very well thought of. What I want to know is who bought the condoms?
I just had them anyway.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. It's that moment where you go, shit, I've got to buy some condoms. Well, I appreciate it.
Oh, good, man.
So, guys, let's dig into this biz talk, backstory, and everything that we're going to talk about. I think I'll kick it off with sort of like, I guess, how I met you and how we become so, I would say, connected.
Yeah.
Although there's condoms sitting on the table, it's a very in the moment.
Let's be careful how close we talk about being.
The table's quite big, so we're all good. But no, you know, I actually met you through Sarah, didn't I? Because you was in the same, or within a group that Sarah was in.
We actually met at your gym first time.
No, you're right. You know what? I forgot last time you told me, and I forgot again now.
Yeah.
In fact, tell I don't know. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So me and Naomi, my partner, were obviously thinking about getting fit because we were setting these businesses up, as I'd explained before.
Yeah.
And we had made that sacrifice of focusing on the business, working, getting up early, working all day, working late at night, working in the evenings. I used to be relatively toned or big, but I wasn't healthy. I wasn't fit. And I started to lose the weight that I'd gained, as in like lose the muscle. And Naomi seemed to be sucking that out of me and get it on her. So she started to gain weight, and we just decided.
How was she doing that? Sorry.
Yes. So we decided we were going to get fit, and lo and behold, an advert from you popped up.
Yeah.
And I thought, God damn, this guy's huge. So I was like, this is the sort of person I need to train me. So we turned up at this gym, and yeah.
Was it functional fitness then? No. Strongly and Fit.
I can't remember what it was
I think it
called.
was Strongly and Fit.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. But we showed up anyway, and you get this great speech, great pitch, and we were all for it. But basically, the way that you'd structured it, we were about to go on holiday for 2 or 3 weeks. And
there was no play, was there? It was straight six.
And then when we came back off holiday, we were behind with work. We got straight back into it, and we just let our fitness journeys fester again. That's ultimately what happened. And we were really doubling down into property at this time because we had a big deal going on, which... not that it's that relevant, but we just valued just under £1 million, which is pretty awesome for our first deal as well. But we just sacrificed everything to get that. And our health was the biggest thing that we sacrificed. And then Sarah, because of the property journey, is how we
It's funny that
reconnected.
actually come round, isn't it?
Yeah.
Again, like I am, you know, and it's nothing personal to anyone. I'm shit at memory. So but when you said it, it did click. 'Cause I remember you saying that you were going away.
Yeah.
And I was like, then when you said that, I was like, yeah, I do remember. I thought them fuckers
Never came back.
Ran off and said, they came with the whole, we're in.
We're in, when we're back.
But do you know what, though? Do you know what's actually really quite good to ask you? I think I've already asked you this, actually, when we went out for food that time. But, you know, when you obviously seen me there, did you think it was quite a professional setup and all that sort of stuff? Because you're going to judge that, aren't you?
Yeah. We definitely wanted to do it. There and then, we'd sort of got everything in place that we needed to in the property that we were dealing with at the time. And we were thinking, when we come back, we're going to do this. Especially because of the challenge. You had this offer, didn't you? Where
6 weeks,
if you
get your
didn't
money back.
Yeah, you get your money back if you achieve the goal. And I just thought, like, I'm challenge driven. If I have something to work towards, I will commit and I'll do it. If I'm just doing it for me, sometimes that doesn't happen. So we were both in. But when we got back off that holiday, because it was a few weeks that we went away for, we sat down and it was like, we're so behind with this property. Everything was stressful.
Yeah, it was just all hands on.
Oh, man, yeah. So it just never happened. And, I mean, eventually we did get into the gym, but, you know.
To be honest, when we did that system as well, it was insane. It was probably like the most money I've ever earned.
Yeah.
However, it was so stressful, and it's not the way I'd want to run a business now.
Yeah, because that can be it. It can be great money, but
you have to sacrifice something. Yeah,
the sacrifice. Yeah.
It's funny because I've got 2 people that I'm working with on business at the minute, and I've taught them that system, and they're both of them are already crushing it. And so you know what I mean. So because I don't want to do that, it's actually nice to see them crush it because it's like, okay, cool, it still works. The system still works.
Yeah. This is the thing that you've gone through a journey where that's where we first met, where you had success, your business was growing, you're running ads and managing all that stuff you like by yourself. You're growing the business, but the money was there, which is what everyone thinks the goal is. But when you got to it, you're like, shit, this is like this is not serving me in the way I thought it was. And then now, which is probably the time we started working together when we started coaching between us, you started to be more focused on time, client results, really niching down and helping a specific audience. And then I noticed your gym started to upgrade and get, better. You're doing keyless or fob entry so that you didn't have to be here all the time.
Yeah.
And you just created this system where you had time and you had the freedom that you wanted. Yes, there may have been a slight dip in the money initially, but it was still bigger than where it was when you started. And I think that system there that you've created and you're now scaling now, that is what I think a lot of people actually want. When they say the goal, everyone's like, 10K a month. But the reality is people get 10K and they're like, my life fucking sucks.
Yeah. It's what I think is what comes with it, doesn't it? Because if you're earning 10K a month, your outgoings are definitely not what they were.
Yeah.
People forget that bit, don't they?
Yeah.
And as well, that was, if I'm honest, that's what you helped me with massively, was starting to think differently along the lines of, actually, it's not about how much money I earn, it's about how smart I earn it, and which is continuing to now the things I'm going through at the moment, is understanding how to feel happier in my life. Do you know what I mean? Rather than that, because I'm very obsessive with things, and if I do something the way my brain wants it to go, it'll be too much. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say? So I need to go, right, okay, pull back on that, be smarter, and actually, I'm a massive believer, and I say it all the time, like whenever I help other people as well, it's like, don't chase the money, chase the passion, because chasing the money burns out, doesn't it?
It does, and it's never going to motivate you long enough, because what you'll do is you'll set this goal of earning this amount of money, but you've got to remember, if that's the destination, the journey's going to fucking suck. Whereas if you just set the milestones and use that monetary goal or whatever, a vision of such, if you set that as like the compass, very relevant to our point in, we'll set the compass. So if you set the compass to what your life should look like, and maybe that's got a financial number attached, then your actual focus should be on the milestones in front that are directly in front of you, like the power of now, like Eckhart Tolle would talk about. So you want to get there, because then that's a celebration. Then the next milestone, a celebration. And if you just use that goal as like a compass that we're moving towards, like an aeroplane, it just keeps readjusting. The journey can look however you want it to look, but the important thing is that you're enjoying it. It's going to be stressful. There's going to be sacrifice, an element of suffering, because often we need to grow as an individual to become a bigger person so that we can actually even achieve this thing that we believe is potentially possible. And that's what you've done. You did readjust. I think initially when we first met, you had this big dream of money, got the money, and then thought, hold on a minute, hold up, wait a minute, this sucks. And then you've changed it, and now you're doing that with other people who own gyms or want to own a gym. And I just think you've taken the learnings because you've gone through the journey, you've gone through the suffering, and you've also found a way to enjoy the journey and then reposition this as a bigger goal. And that's the thing, the goal, yours, ever changes. And I don't think it's an ADHD thing.
Yeah,
I think it's a growth thing.
Yeah, it is funny though, isn't it? Because you always question it, what is it, should it happen, blah, blah. You know what, the fucking answer is, it doesn't matter, and it can happen. Yeah. I'm still trying to tell myself that, but still. Yeah. I mean, it's like the other day when we had a chat and I was like, I want to change this, I want to change that. That's just me. Yeah, When I was young, I used to change my room around every fucking week. And my mum was like, "What the fuck's he doing up there now?" Do you know what I mean? And it's like I was just dragging my bed around, changing things, and then drilling into wall and whatever. And she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "It just looks better." But again, that is how I am and how I live. So actually, it's about making sure that you keep. And you said this to me the other day in a different way to what I'm going to say now, but keep hold of the good bits and adjust the bits that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's what you were basically saying, weren't you, the other day about the whole just don't go and make drastic changes. Yeah. Because I think for me right now, especially and it's something I'm going through my therapist, it's like, because I'm trying to understand ADHD more, right? And I'm trying to obviously understand what is the positives and what's the negatives, because we need to understand both of them and then change the negatives so that we can, do you know what I mean, spin them round. But then at the same time, where I'm at the minute, I'm trying to make sure that my big focus is happiness. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not saying I'm a millionaire and I've got enough money, because I haven't, and no one ever has, and no one would ever say that. But
it's never enough. That's not the thing,
that's the thing. But I've earned enough money to be like, you know what, I'm doing well, and I love serving people. I love helping people, whether it be in the coaching aspect of training or business, or do you know what I mean? I'm a fixer, if you want to look at it like that, and I can't help but be that. I need to stop being like that with Sarah because she just wants to talk to me sometimes. But you know what I'm trying to say, and that, so because I love all that, it's like, okay, how do I adapt my life now to be still those things that I want to be, but also not stress myself out too much?
Yeah, I mean, it's important, number one, that you make that recognition, like awareness. That's got to be the first step with any movement towards change. Awareness is the first step. You have to realize there's a problem. Once you realize there's a problem, you have to acknowledge that this is actually a problem and I need to do something about it. And that's where you start making the steps, which is kind of what the position you're in now. And then once you've set that, it's just about a relentless pursuit of those goals until you attain them. Really, the way I see it is your goals should appear impossible.
Yeah.
The goal, because if you remember, I said the goal is not the end goal. The goal is the compass.
Yeah.
And that's why we have these milestones that we move towards. And these milestones, some of them are big, some of them are small, some of them will help you grow, some of them might make you think you're going backwards. But
some you might change direction when you get to it as well.
100%. I guarantee you will.
That, isn't it? Yeah.
I guarantee you will. And this is the thing. People set goals and they think that this is the thing that they want. And when I get this, I'll be happy. It's a recipe for depression, disaster, sadness, disappointment. It's what it is. When I first set goals, I set a 20-year goal of owning £1 million worth of property. At the time, I was working.
You've gone past that now, haven't you?
Man, like I was working a bum old 9-to-5 job, and there's nothing wrong with 9-to-5s if that's what people want, but it didn't serve me, and it was just the company I worked for was bum old. Yeah. But I set this goal, and I thought, in 10, 20 years' time, I'll have £1 million worth of property, and I'll be rich. My first deal was worth just shy of £1 million. And since then, we own and manage over 2.5 million, getting on towards 3 now. And this is 3 years into the journey. So if I thought that was the goal and that's all I could do, I'd have stopped to start with, but also my steps towards it would have been smaller because I've got 20 years. But it was a mistake that we got nearly £1 million for our first deal. I didn't expect it. Of course that was a mistake. Yeah, no.
I mean, man now owns fucking Sainsbury's.
I didn't expect it to be that. I thought maybe 400,000 was where we were at, and the costs to do it was so high, it wasn't really going to make much profit, but it just transformed into this incredible thing. So seeing that made me think, man, my goals are small. I need to set goals that are unrealistic. So then I've set things in place since then, like I want to own a construction company because my builders sucked. And I thought, 5-10 years time, I'll have my own construction company. 3 months later, I've got one. And then I'm like, okay,
I remember when we went food, wasn't it? You were just like, I just started.
Just started. What the fuck are you on about? And we've got, by the end of this year, we'll have probably done maybe £400,000-500,000 worth of revenue. Yeah. And it's crazy. We've not even marketed ourselves yet. Yeah. So it's
just to hold there, right? Because I want to go back a little bit.
Yeah.
So obviously you're 43 now, right?
I feel it some days.
No. So how old are you actually?
35.
I get mixed up. 35. Right. All jokes aside, are you 88? No.
18 at heart.
no. Sorry. Date of birth 88.
Oh right. No, 87.
87. I'm 88. Right. Okay. Yeah. So. I'm only doing that because yesterday someone asked my age again and I was like 33, 34 or 35. One of them. So one must be 34 just to confirm. So so tell obviously for the listeners more than me because I know this, but you went, oh man, I'm going to make a story up now. You went to America or something. What was that thing where you went away for a little bit? Did you do like, I want to say a camp. I don't know if that's the right thing. What was that little story?
I turned camp.
And then, so when did you come out?
Yeah. So it's still coming. I went to America.
I have made that. That's not made up, right?
I did go to America.
So start from there.
So maybe a little bit further back would make sense. So at school, sob story, I was bullied. I think everyone was bullied. Yeah. But I was pretty badly bullied. And the worst thing about it is the thing that they bullied me on, I actually thought, they're fucking right. Like, I am ugly. I have got buck teeth. I have got spotty skin. I am small. I am skinny.
Mate, just to put it out there, you're probably one of the best looking blokes I know. And I am not going to get in your pants.
Put these bad boys to use.
Just kicked in. No, but it's crazy, isn't it? Like now, you're like fucking a guy that you look at and go, shit, I'm jealous of your beard, your hair and everything.
The thing is, you still look at yourself, and this will never change. I think you have to just accept who you are and be happy with yourself. I mean, if you want to make improvements like the women do, whatever goes on, and that's fine, and some men do as well now. But I think if you can be happy with who you are as a person, that's where the true happiness comes from. And this is something I learned over time because school I was bullied, like everyone said, but the worst thing is that I believed and agreed with everything that they said. It wasn't like, oh,
is that just immature age thing? Yeah,
it's a school thing. Yeah,
cause,
it is.
You know, just some people. I don't know who's listening to this, right? But some people do that and fall into that trap because actually that's what fucking happens. You know, someone, obviously, the thought of someone picking on my kids, I'd literally probably go down there and beat the child, let alone the parent. No, I wouldn't. Just for record, I wouldn't. But, you know, the thought of that. But again, it happens, doesn't it? I mean, my nephew, I can't remember exactly what it was now. He was getting bullied at some point, and it's like, you know what? They just do.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, isn't it? But if you could tell yourself that now, you'd have cracked on earlier, wouldn't you?
And that is the thing.
You have to go through that, don't you?
You do. You do have to go through it. I think every kid will go through it at some degree at some point. And honestly, I don't want to turn this into a parenting because I'm not a parent. I haven't got kids. But I think if
you need to get yourself somewhere.
Well, these are going to. It's all working against us. No, I'm not drinking at the minute. No,
I'm just going to get drunk.
I'll stick with the rain. Total body fuel. I love that stuff.
Pretend that's rain.
So. Anyway, yeah, I think it was the belief that I had that these people were right and what they were saying they were true. Yeah. And some of my best friends bullied me, and I adapted this personality of trying to be the funny guy, where I would make the joke before they made the joke. Because then it's
about
like,
yourself?
About myself.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, they can't say it if I've said it.
Yeah.
So this happened for a while, and I developed social anxiety. I kept it sort of hidden for a long time. I used to try and fit in because my friends were popular and I hung around with them, but I wasn't popular. It was, you know, a weird sort of circle of thought there. But because of this, I would try and be this funny guy. I'd try and have some cool stories. So I used to just make lies up.
I remember you said that, yeah.
Yeah, I used to make stupid stories up. And it wasn't to like try and look good. It was to try and fit in. And it's a super sad thing. But anyway, so that's sort of where I developed my social anxiety, the way I felt about myself and things like that. And then I got to the point where I had this decision that I could go to university if I wanted to. And I made the decision to take psychology so that I could understand why I was the way I was. And it helped to a degree. And at the end of the first year at uni, I just thought, I've got all this knowledge now, let's put it to the test. So I booked to go to America with a friend of mine from uni. And right up until like the last week before we went, I said, you know, I'm excited to go and everything. I said, did you get your visa sorted? He was like, what? He'd not even done anything. Like he'd booked to go to Ibiza. I'd booked to go to America and work on a sports camp. Yeah. And I was like, man, and I could have backed out, and I wanted to back out.
How old were you then?
19, 20. And I ended up going, and it was a stressful nightmare from the beginning, to be honest.
But you learnt a lot, man.
I learnt a lot about myself more than anything.
Yeah.
A lot about myself, and I came back from there. I did make some big changes towards what I wanted to become then. Started a little bit of mixed martial arts, training in the gym. But again, it was about looking healthy, not being healthy.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of problems started to arise during my university time.
Yeah. But you know what that'll be there? I'm just psycho looking at it. It would be literally the fact that because you felt like that, you then thought the outside needed to look better, wasn't it? You know what I mean? And it's a natural thing, is it? Like, I feel shit, so I need to look better to make myself feel better. Actually, no. If you'd have worked inside yourself, then it would be you know what I mean? Yeah,
the inner work's more important.
Yeah.
The thing is, my concerns with social anxiety was about the way people perceived me, but mostly visually. So my goal was to look better. That was my goal. Bigger body, get muscly. I did some underwear modeling, and you'd think I'd be confident, but I wasn't. I was one of the most insecure people you could have ever met.
So when you become an adult and you grew up,
I'm still waiting. I can't wait for that day.
When that happens. So tell us like what got you to where you are now? Do you know what I mean? Like, what path did you take? Did you go, right, I'm going to be a fucking badass shredded business mentor? Or did you? Do you know what I'm saying?
Complete, honestly, and this is why I say, just learn to enjoy the journey. Have an idea of what it is you want to achieve and where you want to go, and it shouldn't be the outcome, but it should be the compass. Because my initial plan when I was at uni, I applied to the police to be like on the criminal psychology side of things. And
anti-bullying.
Yeah.
It is, it's the criminal anti-bullying system.
But they didn't respond to me. I didn't get it. I put the application in and they didn't respond. So I was like, well.
How did that make you feel?
Fuck the police.
Fuck the police. Is that why you got a t-shirt? Fuck the police.
But yeah, I mean, it was what it was, and yeah, blessing in disguise at the end of the day. So I left uni, and I decided I was going to work as a relationship psychologist. I actually got accepted by a friend of a friend in Australia. Planned to move to Australia, but I needed money in my account to get into Australia.
Yeah, because you have to show that you're...
Yeah, something like this.
You're rich.
Yeah, well, you just needed money. They don't want you to go
they
broke.
just don't want you to walk in and be like begging off everyone.
Yeah, they don't want you to be like Britain, basically. Yeah. So I thought I need a job then, so I got a sales job, a telesales job at this place, like a print solutions company in Colville, and it was quite a big company, but you would not have thought it. It was probably about 40-50 million turnover. So I was in sales, and I hated every second of it. So I decided to try and push myself into marketing, because at that age, like 22, 23, what kid doesn't love social media, like being on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. I thought, yeah, I can do this. This business needs this. And I'm going to cut this story short because it's super long and boring, but I basically had a conversation with the owners in London at their head office, and they said, yeah, go for it. And I ended up, over the course of a couple of years, running this department that helped secure a deal that took the company into Europe. And then they sold themselves to, I believe it was HP, for like 140, 50 something million.
Yeah, the computer
What's that?
The computer HP. What's it called?
Yeah, the computer.
Yeah,
HP. I wasn't in the company at that time, but obviously I was supposed to move to Australia within the first year. But my package had gone up, company car, company phone, traveling around a bit. Like, things were great. And I just thought, man, I should probably stick this out. I'm about to move to a country I've never been to, where everything is designed to kill you. I'm crap in the heat, and I've never done this job as a job. I've just learned about it.
Yeah, really bad.
So I just decided not to go and did this job, and I thought I'll give it another year, see how it goes. If it's great, I'll stick it out. After a year, I left the company. I was headhunted by another company here in Loughborough. And this company was like a dog-hole little crappy IT company. And I basically helped to grow it from 5 employees or 7 employees, something like that, and making an annual loss, to turning, we did 3.5 million in the first 4 years of me being there. And that was pretty good. But that was my direction going into marketing and business. And I went in as a director of the company.
So why do you think you was good at that? Because obviously every element of job there that you've done, it's some form of transformation and earning more profit. Why? Do you think that's part of the psychology? Yeah.
Marketing, to me, and sales in a way as well, is about understanding people.
It's about winning people, isn't it? Like,
it's about making people think that the thing that you want them to do is their decision. But yes. I do think you have to come from a place of authenticity, in that the decision that you get them to make should be in their benefit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can do that. I feel like I can read people quite well. And
so you'd be a wicked criminal.
I probably am.
Who says I'm not? But obviously we won't say the words and all that stuff, but it's the same sort of twist, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
But no, that's that thing, isn't it? Where like, but none of your, I guess it sounds like on your journey, correct me if I'm wrong, but none of your stuff was heading that way. It was happening.
Yeah.
Is that what?
Yeah. I mean, I was just kind of stumbling along, if I'm honest, and things just kept falling in my lap. And it was more money each time, more responsibility, a better CV, which is what I thought I needed at the time. Get into a big company, work your way up, earn 80, 100 grand a year. That's what I thought I needed to do, and it'd take me maybe 20, 30, 40 years to do. But at the end of my time with that company, the company was going bad. We'd made the guy a lot of money that owned it, and he just turned into a bit of an arsehole, to be honest. He was getting rid of people left, right, and centre. I'm not going to say that. I ended up leaving the company and started my own marketing agency, which just is a thing that made sense. So started a marketing agency. We did 6 figures in our first 3 months.
Is that the bit that I met you, yeah?
No, you met me after this.
Right, got you.
So probably 5 or 6 months into this, we decided we hated it. Clients demanding more. Like I said, we got the money.
Yeah, because you got the
money
money there. This is quite a different thing, isn't it? Yeah, got you.
Yeah.
You're doing it for them rather than them doing it themselves.
Yeah, you got it. So we were doing it. We had the money we wanted, and me and Naomi and my partner were both unhappy as hell. We hated it. Yeah. So we sacked all of our clients except for 2. One was a guy called Tom Cook, who's now like an international speaker. I'm pretty sure he's earning multi-6 figures, speaks all around the world. And another one was the company, like a property company. And we helped them grow to 1.2 million in 18 months. And Tom's financial wins weren't huge during his time with us, but definitely setting him up to be where he needs to be were really big. And we recognize, hey, we're helping coaches here, people that are online personalities.
And let's be honest, that property company now is doing pretty well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And that's the time I met you.
Yeah.
Around that time is when I met you. I'm not 100% sure how we got introduced or connected now. It may have just been
you know
through
what? I think Sarah just said, message this guy. Well, she was looking at you loads, and I was like, does she fancy him or what's going on? And I was like, right.
When you saw me, I thought, probably not.
Yeah. I was like, actually, I fancy him as well. But that's kicking in, isn't it? But anyway, but from then, did you then... Because how long did you do that for? Because again, the time that we were together probably felt like a blur to you as well. But because I was watching your business, I watched your business for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And I was watching a few. What did I look at you doing? It would have just been your just jump
Content,
on a call.
yeah.
Just jump on a call to go through some strategy stuff.
Yeah.
But do you know what? And I'm happy to say this in front of people as well, because I tell you this, and I don't think I give you enough credit for this sometimes. I've worked with 5 mentors, and literally you have been the easiest person to work with, and that's been the most, how can I put this, like most detailed to what actually I need.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And actually the business stuff that I'm helping people with, I've actually done what you do because I was like, fuck, this works.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And if I'm honest, it's actually very similar to how I coach anyway. But you know, a typical business mentor, it's a fucking blueprint.
Yeah. Copy paste.
And do you know what I always say? It's slimming world. It is though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fucking works for 50% of the people.
Yeah.
For the other 50, go and do one and cry and try and get your money back or whatever.
Yeah.
And then go to another business mentor. Or
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying?
another weight loss
Yeah,
thing.
and try again. But the way that you do it is like, right, what do you need? And do you know, it's really funny because when we started, I said to Sarah, I was like, she's a bit too relaxed for me. Oh no, straight up. I was like, I need guiding because I do, like, you know that anyway now, like, but I need that. The thing is, without blowing my own trumpet, I know a lot, and I know I'm very good at doing what I do, but I know I need that person to go, yeah, you're doing the right thing sometimes.
Yeah,
we
just
all
that
need
reassurance.
that to a degree, yeah. It's accountability and reassurance, yeah. But I was at the start, I was a bit like, I don't know if I like this.
Yeah.
But then obviously as we got that deeper into calls and stuff like that, it was all about what actually I need right now, and that's what just then, I don't know, changed my whole viewpoint of how to run a business, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Everyone seems to they find a way that works for them, and I think that this is big in the fitness industry. And I know you talk about this a lot on your Instagram and on your socials. Someone will gain a result from a coach or a trainer or whatever that works for them. They'll replicate to a degree the bit that they saw and used themselves to get their result, and then they'll become a coach in it themselves.
Yeah.
And the reality is, that makes you a shit coach unless your client...
Not been in the trenches, have you?
Yeah, unless your client is you, with the same goals, the same problems, the same advantages. What you teach will either only work a bit or not work at all.
Yeah.
And this is huge in the coaching industry. It's whereas everything should be tailored.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this is also where people go wrong, in that they will try and make it so tailored that it's not sustainable.
Yeah,
it's not
I
sustainable.
agree,
it's not sustainable.
Do you know what? It's very similar to something that I've had a problem with recently that I told you about as well, if you can puzzle what it was. But where, something I was working with within my business wasn't working because someone was trying to do it one way. It's like, we have to remember that they're real people, they're normal people. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, his way works, and that's the hard thing. It's like, I know it works, but you have to remember that sometimes people just don't do what, not that you tell them to do, because that's a discipline style thing. Yeah. But it's just that they just can't. If they can't, then they failed. Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, no. So there's a certain way we draw them down the path, but then we have to understand that people are different, so then they need to be told different, don't they? Yeah. Or delivered different. Yeah. It's like, we worked out earlier when I was working with you. I'm a very black and white person. Just tell me to do that, I'll do it. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you give me a decision, I'm fucked. Yeah. You know? But that's how I am, and that's something that I understand, and I know that I need to. That's why sometimes I'll ask you the most stupid questions, and you'll go, yes, do it, and I'm like, cool.
Yeah, but it's that reassurance, isn't it? Sometimes we have ideas, but we don't have the confidence in ourselves to make that decision, and we just need a little bit of a shove over the edge. Yeah.
So when it comes to me on the coaching side, I'm 100% confident.
Yeah, we know your stuff.
That's the thing, isn't it? And it's fine to be like that. You know what? For a while, I used to think I was like a bit of a imposter syndrome sort of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, if I'm not quite 100%, well, how can I teach people? It's like, hold on a minute, but you can coach. And that's that thing, isn't it? Like, as much as no one wants a fat PT, but sometimes you can get a fucking hell of a coach.
Yeah.
That isn't good themselves.
Yeah.
I can actually pick a couple off my head right now that are great weightlifting coaches or something like that, and it's actually like they should sit it themselves. That's fine, because you know what? The results speak for themselves within what they develop people towards. But if you were to look at them and go, "What can you do?" Well, then you're screwed.
Yeah, I guess it's they have the knowledge and they know exactly what to do, but they are not in a position to be able to do it themselves, whether through physical limitations or just age
or anything. Yeah. But I guess that's where it's like, put your passion into coaching people then, and it works, doesn't it?
Yeah, the thing is with coaching as well, a lot of the time the client has the answers. You just have to guide them to pull them out. Whereas like mentoring, I feel like you should have been on the journey and maybe even still be where they want to get to in real time. And I think the big gap in mentoring and coaching online at the minute is that some people that have made it are teaching the things that they're doing now. It's like, hey man, you've got like a 50,000 or 1 million follower base. What you're doing now is completely irrelevant to this guy with 10 followers and a brand new Pinterest account.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
doesn't make any sense.
Because they're literally starting the first step on the ladder.
Yeah.
But that's a tough thing in the coaching world, isn't it? And obviously, I'm sure you've seen that video I put out at the time. What was it? 3 ways to become a coach or whatever. So I'm saying, it was like, obviously, it's hilarious how many people thought I was serious as well. But then obviously you had like, loads of people that knew I was taking the piss. But it's like, look, to become a strongman coach nowadays, all you need to do is do a competition, take photos of you doing the competition, then tell people how to do it. And obviously it's a fucking joke for anyone watching this. But that's just what people do, isn't it? It's like, oh yeah, I've done it now, I know what I'm doing. It's like,
yeah, it is.
Especially when they put the word specialist on it. It's like transformation specialist. Fucking specialist, mate. Well, I'll tell you what, when you get to the point where someone goes, shit, I've got a problem, and you go, okay. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what do I do now? Can I phone a friend? You know what I mean? Chris Tarrant, whatever his name is. But yeah. So let's talk about your physique stuff then.
Yeah.
So, obviously, you are you're looking very.
Try and get some angles.
I was going to say, like,
try and get some angles.
It's funny because when I didn't see you for a while, obviously you always say how big I was.
Yeah, man.
And then you walked in, I was like, fuck. I mean, you might not be bigger in size, but you look bigger because obviously you shape.
Because I'm skinny with just big shoulders.
Well, I would say skinny.
But yeah, the physique thing. So this is actually a bit of a recent transition. So like I said, I've always been into health. I've always been into looking.
You've always trained though, haven't you?
I've always trained. But I've always trained in my own way. Internet training, should we say, where I could lift and I knew
you went on bodybuilding.com, didn't you?
Basically, yeah, got and subscribed.
Yeah.
I was eating healthy food, I was eating all the right stuff, and I'd get big and I'd look muscly with clothes on, but there was always that element that wasn't there. I wasn't lean, I didn't have proper abs, nothing was defined, I'd be disproportioned, and it was this year, end of last year, decided so this is what happened. We'd focused on our business a lot, and I'd actually got a little bit out of shape. Looked okay still, bit fat on my belly, a bit thin on the arms, but unhealthy as hell. We found a lot of success in our business, and I just realised that, so I basically repeated the mistakes I'd made before, and I realised I need to sort this out. I need to get healthy because I'm 35, going on 50. I've got to sort it out. And then I got into the gym, and it must have been 2 months into training what I believe to be properly, I got a fucking hernia. Umbilical hernia. Of course. So I trained for a while, just holding my finger on my belly button, just one arm weights to keep it in. I was popping up, swapping arms, you know how it is. And so my missus said, you need to get this sorted, Jay. I'm not training with this. It's disgusting.
How do you do 2-arm press? It's impossible.
One-handed. So I just dumbbells. No, so what I do then is I just try and squeeze my belly in, and it was stupid. I'm not going to give advice in case someone tries it.
Don't do this.
Don't try this, kids. So I had the operation anyway, and I got it sorted, and I was out for 8-12 weeks, something like that, and I couldn't train, so I got even fatter, and then, well, I wouldn't say I got fat, I got softer everywhere, skinnier arms, soft, it was about a quarter of a year, and then I just made the decision, I have to sort this out, I have to do it properly, I'm gonna get myself a personal trainer. And I'll be honest, I actually thought about you, but I thought lifting stupid heavy weight is probably not what I need to be doing right now. For hernia recovery. You could be a specialist after you've trained.
There you go, yeah.
So I got this guy that a few of my friends had used. His name's Archie, really, really great guy, all online. And I went to work with him, and literally within a couple of months, I started to see some big changes. Bear in mind, I was limited weight, limited movement because of the recovery still. And I started to see some great results. in terms of physique, and he said to me, "Why don't you do a shoot?" And I thought, well, who are you taking the piss out?
Sorry, was that meant for me, that message?
Yeah, who's this? So I thought, do you know what? Let's have a challenge. Like I said before, if something is set to me as a challenge, it motivates me to do it because I'd like to think I am pretty disciplined if there's something to work towards.
It's a powerful business thing as well, isn't it? Though.
Yeah,
like
well,
that's why it works for him. And I when you shared something of his, once I clicked on there and I'd look, and he's got a great business model for that reason, isn't it? Like,
he really has.
It is a wicked thing to be like, right, let's get you ready for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it made me committed. I mean, I'm a disciplined guy, but I didn't realise how much discipline's actually required. I used to see these people on pictures and be like, that guy's quite skinny, and I know he's ripped, but you know that man. It's a different game. Whoa! Like massive respect to those people that do it, that get ready to compete. God damn, it was hard. So anyway, I prepped for this shoot. I was ready probably 2 months early. So then I had to stagger this really low calorie diet, and like just the macros were horrible. And I sat on this diet for a while, and then we went into the cutting, like a deep cut, and then dehydrating and everything. And I basically got in really good shape for the shoot, and I looked good. Like,
you stick the photos up now as we should.
Like,
you did look good.
Yeah, I think I did look good. I could have looked better still, but I did look good for my first ever shoot. But yeah, and running up to that shoot day, and how hard it was, and how many times I wanted to slip and have a Turkish meal from the takeaway with Naomi, because she was crap at supporting me, to be honest. She was just having takeaways left, right, and centre. I was opening the door, fucking Subway. I was like, Naomi, stop it, will you?
Yeah, didn't try up.
So I thought to myself, I need to set a goal. And there's actually a guy in my gym, his name's Jack. He'd said to me, and I talked about the shoot and everything, and they were taking the piss out of me. And he said, the amount of Under Armour clothing you wear, Jay, and I'm wearing it now. He said, you might as well get sponsored by them. And he said, well, I can't remember the joke. It was funny at the time. Now we've moved past it now, because now it's serious. That I decided to set the goal of, do you know what? That seems impossible. I'm not a professional athlete. I'm not an influencer. I've not got a massive following. This feels almost impossible. Yeah. What a fucking great goal to work towards to keep me going for the long term. Yeah. So I set it in place. I created this thing called Project Under Armour. The selfish side of it is get myself sponsored or affiliated in some way with Under Armour. And then the non-selfish would be phase 2, is to actually use this as Project Under Armour, which I actually decided on this name before I found out about Project Rock, which is Under Armour's project with Dwayne Johnson.
I wouldn't have known it's called that, but yeah.
So I actually thought of this name before the Project Rock thing. So sorry, Under Armour, but it is what it is. Anyway, the phase 2 would be actually using this project to build awareness to other entrepreneurs, business owners who feel that they need to sacrifice their health in order to grow a successful business, because that's what I've been through. I've been through it twice now. And almost like the motto is, you can have it all. If you are willing to relentlessly pursue a near impossible goal, your capacity to achieve whatever it is you desire is infinite. But you've got to change the way that you perceive yourself and change what you believe in, because it's yourself that takes yourself out of the game. You are your own hurdle. And that's a strong message, because I've gone through it, but I see it every day. You get the runners the people that are business owners just nipping into the gym, just doing like a little pathetic run on the treadmill, thinking, I've been the gym.
Yeah, I've ticked it off.
And it's not that. Have a fucking goal. Set something big. Like, I never thought I'd be in the shape that I was in for that shoot. And as soon as I did it, do you know what I thought? I'm going to do that again, but I'm going to be bigger next time and more ripped.
Yeah. 12 seconds of I'm pleased with that. He's like, right, what's next?
That's it. I was looking at myself, judging myself, and it, not in a negative way, but I just thought,
no, it's a reflection thing, isn't it? Like, look at what I've done, but also, hold on, actually, what can I do better now? Because I guess it's that. I always think about this thing as well. It's about, like, I'm a very next person. Yeah. And actually, I think that's I know it's a huge ADHD thing anyway, but it's also it's a driven thing. It's an entrepreneurial thing, isn't it? And when you run a business and help so many people and stuff, you have to think like that in a way.
Yeah.
But I always get worried when you get to that point when you're like, actually, what is next?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I'm honest, that's something I'm actually trying to control at the moment.
Yeah.
Because it can be unhealthy. It's not unhealthy for me at the minute, but I think it could turn unhealthy. But with your thing there, looking at yourself like that and thinking that way, you're obviously like thinking, okay, cool, I enjoyed it. It kept me on track, and it had a lot of positives.
Enjoy is a strange word to use.
You look back and go, I enjoyed the process, right?
I enjoyed the end result. I hated the process. I've got so much respect for people that are in any sort of bodybuilding or even what you do, the strength, the conditioning you have to put yourself through each time. Oh man, it was just honestly, it was unbearable. But I'll do it again. I'll do it again. Because like what you're saying is this, like it's constant growth, isn't it? I think we're always looking. It can sound like a bad thing, like what's next. But the thing is, I think if what's next is on the same path, I think it's a positive thing. If what's next is what is a random thing that I can jump to now,
of course,
that's a problem.
No, I hear you. Yeah, because it's like, okay, that wasn't good. Now where do I go, left or right? It's like, well, no, keep going forward and pursue that further and better.
That's it, because I think the misconception that people have in business is that, and I talk to my clients about this, the people that I coach, you start here with something new, and let's say it's a Facebook ads program, and you start working on it. You see all these big changes because everything's new, and you sort of get to that 60% part, maybe 70% in the program. You finish the program, but in terms of the results and the goal you're trying to achieve,
you're still pushing further.
And then it gets hard there, and you get stuck, and you're like, oh, this isn't working anymore. Maybe I need something else.
Well, now the learn is carry fuck on.
Well, it is, but the thing is, people jump to something new, and they think they're carrying on making progress. But what they're actually doing is going back to the start and 0%. Going forward, it's those 1% changes, the little tweaks that make the difference. And it's what most people are not willing to do that. And that's the difference between someone like you that has excelled in strongman, excelled in your business with coaching and mentoring, anything that you've touched really. And maybe this is an ADHD thing, to be able to really dig deep and like pick at the little things that you want to know what is going on here. And the fact that you've done that, I think that actually serves you well.
No, it's true. But obviously when you look at that as well, it's tough, isn't it? Because obviously I talk to a lot of people about it and everything, and it's such a hard thing to say for people to learn, because it's not really a learnt trait until you're in the position that you need to learn it. I always feel. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously most things we come to through pain, don't we? Like, so you when you was younger, you felt fat and ugly and all these different things. Well, that's what made you probably then really spin your life around and actually pursue yourself and really drive things forward. When you think about someone, I always say I'm relentless, right? It's probably the most used word I think of myself to explain myself, because I'm just relentless in anything I do, good and bad. Push things to the limit regardless of what it is. But it's one of those things that's also made me who I am, because it stopped me taking my foot off the gas, and that's what you're on about there, isn't it? Like, so many people get to that bit where it gets fucking hot and they go, I'm burnt. It's like, you're not burnt yet. Do you know what I mean? It's like, just completely spinning it around. Some people say I'm starving. You're not starving.
You're not starving. You don't know what starving is. Do
you know what I mean? Like, I want to say that to someone in Africa.
That's it.
Yeah. Fucking say that. You won't hear them mess around saying I'm starving.
That's it.
And they actually are. Let's be honest.
And they just push through.
But it's how hot that heat can get, isn't it?
How much you can. Do you know what I always say? I like to say it's how much you can handle, but I don't think it is, because I think what you think you can handle is the beginning of where you start to give up. It's about how disciplined you are at pursuing the journey, and how, like you say, how relentless you are in achieving the goal. To actually come through with what you said you were going to do. Like, tell yourself the truth and follow through.
We was on about the red tank in your car. And I did it because actually I come back from somewhere and I'm late for everything anyway, and I'm late for everything. I always do things last minute because that's just how I work. But the other day I needed to get some petrol. Went straight past it. And thought, I'll be all right. I wasn't, because I was fucking like miles away. Anyway, then I'm on red for ages. Then I'm like this, constantly looking at red. And my point was, you go for much longer than you think you can. Actually, when you're on red, keep fucking going.
Oh man,
I'm not saying that I'm not saying everyone drive around until you break down, because everyone's going to go, you fucking told me I was going to be. But do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, but if you must have done that before, right? Where you're in red and you think, oh, I'm actually like on zero now. And I've drove fucking like down the motorway on zero before, thinking, how is it still going? Like, is someone blowing me along or something? But actually, that's that point there, right? When you're on red, keep going, because you've still got more to go. It's
like a second tank, isn't it? It just where did this come from? And it is true. Do you know? I think
that passion part, right? Hopefully for people, that's that like, I can't do this anymore. It's like, you can if you're passionate about it. You know what? If you can't, maybe you're not doing the right thing.
Yeah, maybe. Or yeah, maybe you need to set a goal that inspires you more.
Yeah. What would you say your message is, just to wrap up and finish off for everyone? In 6 seconds, go.
Yeah, so I'd say you need to find something that you're passionate about and set an almost impossible goal with that, and then be relentless in your pursuit of attaining that goal. I think if you can do that in every aspect of your life that matters to you, the area that you want to work towards, you can achieve anything that you want to achieve. And like I say, that's the message behind this Project Under Armour that I've started working on. So,
and where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook. Most of the time it's Jay Staniforth. I also have jstaniforth.com, which is Jay Staniforth.
Yeah. We'll share it all anyway.
Yeah.
We'll jump on the Project Under Armour and let's get Jay.
Let's get me sponsored.
Streets.
Get me off the streets. Pity sponsorship.
No,
I want to earn it, man. I want to earn it.
And that's the thing, is it's showing that like you can excel something that you think is impossible.
Yeah, it's the perceived impossible. Imagine how good this would be for me, but also how much it'd inspire others to say how impossible it seemed at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then I get it. When
I
get it.
It's like you got a car. Under Armour have bought you a car. That's where shit's changed. But mate, I really, really appreciate it.
Sweetie. Nice one, man.
Massive.